Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing. When you do these things, you do help with my algorithm and the YouTube rankings. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Some of the, I want to say the weirdest cryptocurrency news in a while, but it gets pretty out there. You'll see as we go along. It says technical analysis, Bitcoin faces hurdle, why Bitcoin could resume downtrend. There's a lot of news right now regarding the cryptocurrency market price. Of course, as one might have imagined, a number of analysts, a number of banks, a number of former stockholder, manager, hedge fund, cryptocurrency people are now coming out to openly discuss, as they were before. Usually when these people were in the news, it was usually them saying where they expected Bitcoin's price to go, as in the $500,000 Bitcoin price, $1 million Bitcoin price, etc., etc. There's a clear line down the middle as to where people think the prices are going to go. A lot of people think that we are going to be stuck roughly around these numbers for a good another month or two until we have a clear indication as to exactly where Bitcoin's price is going to go. A lot of people have announced that we have not capitulated enough, and therefore we need Bitcoin's price to go down to around $22,000, $23,000, $24,000 before we have an actual gigantic surge in price. This is once again a mimic of what we saw around 2019, somewhere around there, definitely before 2020, where a number of people, and I dare call them analysts, came out stating that Bitcoin needed to go to $1,000. You remember that time? Yeah. Before Bitcoin could actually have any type of movement back up. And then lo and behold, we didn't even hit near $1,000 until 2020. And then prices began to skyrocket back up. On the other side of the park, the team, are people who believe that we are on the cusp of a gigantic amount of movements in the cryptocurrency space. Whether that be because of the news that we are going to be getting Ethereum 2.0, Bitcoin being extremely oversold when you look at the actual numbers, or just the fact that the hash rate and the mining everything is back well above where it previously was before, when we were at $69,000 per Bitcoin. The idea of Bitcoin actually resuming a downtrend, I think, is no longer even up to a portion of the cryptocurrency market. It has to do with the wider global trends that are currently going on. It says, there we go. Bitcoin and Ethereum struggle to break resistance. Luna dives. I don't think they're struggling. I think it's simply, it's whales. I don't know why the news is constantly like this every single day, as if there's some type of, I remember mentioning this before. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency space, I'm not sure if they do this intentionally or if it's something that they, whatever, almost like pretend as if there's actual resistance at play, or like there's actual bears and bulls actually fighting out in the street. Anyway, that was also a really big problem a while ago. People being like, well, bears are at it again. And it's like, no, it's not bears. It's just people who are trying to simply lower the price, because every single time that they were lowering the price, we had information that the same exact people who looked like that they were actually selling off their assets were buying up tons of it as the prices ended up falling. The most popular price news of the day, even pushing aside the Bitcoin going sideways news, it says, although the sell-off in the broader cryptocurrency market has slowed down a bit, that's not really the case for Terra's Luna. The Luna cryptocurrency is down another 12% today, dropping under $44 while extending its weekly loss to 35%. Basically, apparently, the news is today. It says, as reported, the negative sentiment around Terra is because of the ecosystem's link with something called magic internet money. Furthermore, Terra's partner, Abracadabra, their protocol holds a close association with something called Wonderland. And if I'm not mistaken, Wonderland was also in the news. I did not have it here because it seemed absolutely ridiculous that anyone is at all at any point investing in something called Wonderland or magic internet money or Abracadabra. And apparently, as far as I know, allegedly, if you type in Wonderland crypto, you can definitely find the news if you so feel like reading it. Allegedly, Wonderland, I think the co-founder or creator has stepped back, or there's some lost money, or something's not going right, or someone did not get paid, or there's some type of internal strife fighting going on with the protocol, and that has worried a lot of other people who are in it, and therefore money has been lost or something like that. Sure, the Abracadabra protocol deposits UST in exchange for magic internet money. For those of you who don't know, or why I'm a little annoyed at the term magic internet money, magic internet money is what people in 2012 and 13 called Bitcoin, because they couldn't wrap their heads around the idea of Bitcoin. So they made fun of it by calling it magic internet money. And the fact that there's now a protocol called magic internet money, it just seems a bit ridiculous. Magic internet money, which they then can further stake on Wonderland and generate a yield of 13,000% annually. You know that thing that they have in Egypt, and they use like gigantic bricks to build it, and you kind of keep building them like smaller and smaller as you get further to the top, and it makes like a certain thing. Does anything else on this planet actually give you ever 13,000% annually? No? Oh, it doesn't? You know what that's usually called? 4 letters, starts with an S, ends with an M. So anyway, this was, when I talk about actual popular price news, this was it. Apparently people are very confused that Terra Luna is dropping. The same exact way that, remember the other coin that got a 51% attack 4 times in a row, and people were like, why is the price going down? I don't understand. There's just a 51% attack on the protocol. It's not like that could happen again. Oh, snap. It happened once again. Also, in the news, it says current crash hits Dogecoin and Shiba Inu harder than other cryptos. That's a lie. I looked at the prices even before making this video. Shiba Inu is down by like 13%, which we're also going to get into in a couple of minutes. Dogecoin is down by 8%. There are other coins that are down by like 18 to 22% over the last 24 hours alone. So I don't know why this also kept on popping up, that Dogecoin and Shiba Inu were in trouble more than other digital currencies, when that's not even remotely the case. The actual mega price news doesn't make any sense, but you still kind of understand. Is that we are not only at the crossroads, if you will, within the cryptocurrency space, with people trying to decide or confirm with other people inside of their echo chamber that Bitcoin is either going to $100,000 by the end of this year, or Bitcoin is going to roughly be around $22,000 before it can actually pop back up in price. The stock market looks terrible across the board. We've been going over that for a number of years on this channel. This used to actually be more of a like complete finance channel, but I noticed that a lot of people didn't really care for anything that actually had to do with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, yada, yada, yada. So therefore it has evolved into the, I dare not say more superior financial instrument, but the one that has a lot more energy flowing around it. We are well, and I mean well overdue for a stock market correction, a stock market crash, a stock market tumble. Not sure what you really want to call it. Usually, historically, not alwaysly, stock markets tend to have a crash every 6 to 7 years, maybe sometimes 8 years. There's a very big, huge movement up. Things fall down. They kind of reset, if you will, and then they have a chance to actually move back up. We are well overdue, as the 2008-2009 crash, collapse, recession was never actually solved. The money was simply printed, thrown at the market, and moved back up. The people who were responsible for said problem were bailed out, and basically no one got in trouble for almost destroying the entire world. So, as it stands right now, we have seen collectively, me, you, us, over the last 2 years, the stock market continued to go up regardless of what was actually realistically happening around the world. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't even have to be discussed because it's still currently in the news. Why was the stock market going up? Well, it's widely believed that once we got news that 19 was actually floating around in the world. We had news from the Federal Reserve and a number of other governments around the world that they were going to actually start printing tons of money, to start throwing it at these different markets, whatever. You've heard me talk about this before. And now that we've had the news that the Federal Reserve is allegedly, apparently, no one knows, going to stop and or slow down what they've been doing before, markets are now reacting. Traditional markets are reacting quite volatile, that's the word, than they have over the last 2 years. And I think that, as we've said before, I think this is now sloshing over. Like, imagine like a gigantic wave, like it keeps like falling over into our side more and more, as we have been over the last 2 years and a number of other years grouped more closely with other traditional financial investments, as we now have Bitcoin ETFs, we have Bitcoin futures, we have Bitcoin indices, we have Bitcoin, you name it, whatever the actual thing is. So, as it stands right now, for those of you who are not looking at the screen or did not see the title of said article, it says Wall Street is split on buying the dip in whipsawing U.S. stock market. This one says, is it time to bail out of the stock market? Wild price swings are shaking the resolve of some investors, because it looks like, and I want to give you complete honesty, we should have had a stock market, an actual collapse around 2012, 2013, where things also weren't looking too hot for world markets as well. But things continued to move up. The fact that the situation that's been going on for the last 2 years, the loss of jobs, loss of homes, everything else that belongs in that gigantic box, has not even remotely swayed or moved the stock market as to where it should currently be, it tells me that we are well overdue for an actual collapse. I'm not sure if this happens to you or if this has been going on. I've noticed, and I've mentioned this I think once or twice, I have a lot of friends who are now coming up to me asking me how to invest. And I think it's very weird, because these are friends who have no interest in investing, but they've been hearing through the grapevine, and it's also affected them in many other ways, that they're trying to figure out how to outpace, get away from inflation, trying to make any extra money. I'm going to be honest with all of you. Has this happened? I think everyone can kind of feel it in the air that something's not right. Like, something financially is completely amiss. Things aren't the way that they currently should be. And I think it's like this, almost like a tightening stronghold that's continuing to get tighter and tighter. I think as people realize that they cannot afford a home anymore, not many people are too willing to be in debt with a mortgage for the next 30 plus or so years. If you look at even the prices of property, if you look at the price of like a studio, they're usually around the price of where an entire home was, like an actual house was, about 10 to 15 years ago. The stock market is completely unstable. People have no idea if they should put their money into it. Alternative investments like cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and other things are, crypto maybe not at the moment, but are gaining such a huge amount of interest because people really have no idea where to put their money. So I've had a lot of friends in the last couple of weeks, even more so over the weekend, a couple of them asking me, should they start buying property? And I'm constantly in this situation where I can't tell people what to do, not even because, not financial advice, that whole thing, but in general, I don't know where the market is going. No one knows. We were told a couple of months ago, 2 months ago, that the stock market was going to continue rising well until 2024. And now look at it now, like there's huge amounts of panic that are flowing around all of these markets. It's a very unstable time. Nobody knows where to put their money. Nobody knows really what to do. It's either buying property, buying land, buying crypto, buying gold and silver. Sure, why not? Buying bonds, equities, securities, like where? You understand what I'm saying? It's a huge amount of uncertainty that has collapsed on top of us. And I think the only way actually forward is for these markets to collapse. We need them to start over, not from zero, but to have like an actual, okay, this is a leveled playing field once again, because the 2008, 2009 sentiment is very thick in the air. People are buying up tons of homes the same exact way that they were in 2008 and 2009. People are speculating in any type of different market that they can with the intent of trying to make as much money as possible. And now that's also wrapped together with a huge amount of inflation. Years ago, the idea of inflation, I mean, you would hear these people on YouTube and many other places talking about it. In 2014, 2015, the inflation is going to, sure, destroy things all over the place. And now that we're actually confronted with these heavy inflation numbers, it's like, what do people do? Anyway, just thought I'd have that little conversation. I might even have like a video about it one day, just simply because I think, we're currently at that time where nothing really makes sense across the board. Nothing at all. Like remember even last year when we had news reports that there were, 14 million people had lost their job like over the course of a week. And there were charts showing the numbers like, the charts going up for people like finding jobs. And it's like, anyway, On top of that, tying into the price news, because I told you it was going to get really weird because there's tons of like stuff going on right now. It says, although Bitcoin has corrected 50% from its all-time highs, its levels, its fans and ardent supporters continue to put more faith in crypto. The El Salvadorian president put up one more message explaining how millionaires across the world will soon chip into buying Bitcoin, and there won't be enough coins for everyone, ultimately leading to a price surge. He said, there are more than 50 million millionaires in the world. Imagine when each one of them decides they should own at least one Bitcoin, but there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Not enough for even half of them. A gigantic price increase is just a matter of time. I don't even really know. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I wish I was slightly joking. All right, I think I might just move on from this because this would actually take me about 20 or 30 minutes to talk about, and I'm not in the mood to make like an hour and a half long video. He has also joined the group, and I'm pretty sure he's been there for a while, of people who think that Bitcoin is going to be exploding anytime soon. And I personally, I'm sorry to disappoint a lot of you. I just don't see that. When I talk about that I'm in the cryptocurrency market for the long term, I mean it. I'm here for, long haul, walking up the mountain with everybody else. But I think at some point we're going to have to get a little bit realistic with actual movement, because something is clearly amiss, not only in stock markets, in the real estate market, but the fact that Bitcoin's metrics are sky high and thumbs up in the air right now, and the price is not increasing. There's some type of whale activity, and this also happened again. Did you guys see the video, and gals out there? Did you guys see the video a couple of months ago? There was like a second one that just popped up on Twitter somewhere. There were these people in a room, and someone had their phone, but it was lowered, so you couldn't, no one else in the room could actually see it. But it was these people basically counting down, and as they got down to 1 or 0, they hit a button, and they actually sold off their positions and caused Bitcoin's price to crash. There was a major price crash that we had months ago. And this also happened a couple of weeks ago where there was like another video of these other group of traders somewhere who sold off. And this is the same exact time that we also had a major sell-off. So there's something happening behind the scenes. I'm pretty certain that it's based off of these people trying to accumulate more. But it's a shame that the market can't move on its own free will anymore because of everyone desperately wanting Wall Street people and big players to get into the market. And now that they're here, this is what they do. Remember the Wyckoff chart that we were also talking about before. If you haven't seen there's a YouTuber who made a Wyckoff video. I don't remember the name of the channel. If you type in Wyckoff, it should be one of the very first ones. It's a video from around 4, 5, 6 months ago. Where basically, according to this YouTuber and his charts, he showed that there's a chart which is usually done by institutional investors or heavy-handed rich people who are getting into the cryptocurrency market, usually or any other market, which is usually a way for them to show like, hey, I'm here, as opposed to them simply walking through a door or sending a bat signal or batarang. I don't know why I keep using Batman to show that their actual presence. They will use an actual chart to show movements in the market to indicate, hey, I'm also in the market as well. But these are heavily moving markets, swings. Remember when this was around the same exact time where we would wake up And we would see that the market was down by 8, 9, 10%. But the actual movements downward were straight down. And I was like, doesn't that seem a little bit weird to anyone? And no one agreed with me. I was like, doesn't it seem a little bit weird to anyone that there was a collective mind over the course of hundreds of millions of people in the cryptocurrency market to sell at that exact same time? It was either millions of people collectively coming together, writing an email, being in a WhatsApp group saying, hey, we all sell at this exact moment, or it was someone very heavy-handed who had tons of money who'd be able to put into the market. They slammed the market down. And that's when we started getting tons of news even that time that there was a heavy whale accumulation from the same exact addresses who were also putting in sell orders that were never actually executed on cryptocurrency exchanges. So something is amiss. I know I've said the word amiss like 9 times in this video, but this is the only thing that I can actually use to describe what's currently happening in the market. Wait, what was the other thing that I had to say? Something about the actual sell-off. Yes. Oh, also, this guy's not incorrect. As far as like the actual gigantic price increase, mathematically, it has to happen at some point. When you talk about, once again, an asset that people are assuming at some point, if we made it to 70,000, logically, I think we can, over the course of a year, go to $100,000 per Bitcoin. If the stock market, the gold market, the market continues to tumble, fall down, logically, Bitcoin can also mathematically then at some point, as accumulation continues over the next 5 to 10 years, hit $500,000 per coin. We are currently seeing, accumulation unlike anything that we've ever actually seen. I find it really funny that a lot of people who are actually in the cryptocurrency market or any other type of market, one of the really big things that they like to talk about is the actual wealth transfer. This is the idea of, now, it depends on what side of the spectrum that you're actually on, but the great wealth transfer, usually when you talk about from economists, has to do with the idea that the people who are currently in their 70s and 80s right now, as time goes on, you get what I'm saying, that money will then be transferred to their kids, their grandkids, what have you, so on and so forth. This is the great wealth transfer. When you talk about it within the cryptocurrency kind of space, it usually has to do with this idea of rapid amounts of accumulation by people who are accumulating cryptocurrency assets and or any other type of assets that will or may appreciate very heavily sometime in the future. Therefore, i.e., if you are a person in 2010 and you have 10,000 Bitcoin, random number, and the price of Bitcoin goes up to $1 million, well, therefore, all this wealth has been transferred exclusively into you, into the 1% of the 1% within the cryptocurrency market. So the fact that we constantly get news, I'm going to end it right here. The fact that we constantly get news about people in the cryptocurrency space who are actively buying up tons of cryptocurrencies, but no one is connecting the dots that these are the people who are actually going to benefit the most from the actual wealth transfer. I find it quite fascinating. Like, you talk about this great time in history where all the money is going to move from A, B, C, D, E, F, G just to X, Y, and Z, and we currently see it happening, but still no one pays attention when we talk about all the actual accumulation of Bitcoin. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and then I ended up talking about it. Anyway, that's all the current price news that's going on. There was a lot more. There were other random altcoins stories and news. Can Litecoin recover? Is Ethereum going to move up higher in price? It's all Bitcoin. We are all collectively waiting for Bitcoin to actually move up in price, and that's what's going to move the cryptocurrency market. So when that finally does happen and whales are done accumulating, because it looks like we are in or at some point inside of an accumulation phase right now, that's when Bitcoin's price will move back up. Anyway, that's all the price news. A lot of stuff going on in the cryptocurrency market. And without further ado, let's finally move on. Next up, in the most popular news story of the day, on Sunday, the team behind ADAX, they say they are an automated liquidity protocol that facilitates trades within the Cardano ecosystem in a completely decentralized and non-custodial way, announced that their decentralized exchange had gone live on the mainnet on the 17th of November, 2021, an Ask Me Anything event was held on the official ADAX Reddit, where ADAX's lead developer and CMO answered questions regarding ADAX's development and upcoming launch. According to a recap of this event that was published on Medium by the ADAX team on the 23rd of November, they were planned to launch in December. Sure, why not? The ADAX team believes that there are 4 things that will give them an edge over the competition: full decentralization, team talent, overall UX, and partnerships. So, another second decentralized exchange has launched on Cardano. How fascinating time is that all these things are now launching on Cardano. I mean, like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Apparently, they are going to be also integrating COTI's, COTI's, DOGE stablecoin. Sure, why not? Whatever makes your fancy tickled, because sure. Anyway, this was most popular news story of the day. A lot of people have completely lost their minds that there is now a second decentralized exchange on Cardano. A lot of articles were calling it a rival to the first one that launched, which was Sunday Swap. I'm not sure why people write these articles. I'm not sure if they have nothing better to do with their time. I think that the last thing that Cardano needs right now is a rivalry within itself, especially as a lot of these protocols and the prices of these assets aren't doing too well right now. It would make a lot more sense if these things kind of try to work together. So, yeah, the continued build out of Cardano continues. It's nice to see that things are finally happening, because you saw me criticizing them before. I'm like, you can't say that you're going to upgrade something. It takes 3 to 4 years to actually get the upgrades that you were talking about in 2017, and then no one's building on it. So as it stands right now, we now have ADAX. We now have Sunday Swap. Apparently, there's also a smart contract platform. I think does Cardano already have their own NFT like website thing or something built on? I'm pretty sure they do. I remember people telling me about it before, but I don't know if that was Tezos. I don't really know what's happening anymore. And yeah, apparently behind the scenes, according to Mr. Hoskinson, there are also going to be hundreds, that's with an S, of protocols and websites and things being built on top of it in the coming weeks or months as well. I mean, the most popular news story. Everyone completely lost their mind about this. I think it's quite cool. And it's nice to see, once again, the things that were spoken about before actually happening, because this was a major problem with EOS. The people who were working on EOS kept on announcing every month that something was going to be happening, or something would be delivered, or something was going to be launched. And we got nothing. Not even the actual social media platform, which we also heard last year was going to be rebranding into an NFT platform by the end of last year. Nothing actually took place. So I assume that Cardano also did not raise $4 billion like EOS did. And look at what Cardano's doing with less than $4 billion. Fascinating, huh? So, just to be realistic, usually it takes about a good 3 to 4 weeks to see if something actually works. I.e., we had the news that Sunday Swap, after they launched, they were tumbling over rocks over and over and over. But we don't hear that anymore. I assume that a lot of things have been kind of smoothed out. So as ADAX has launched, I assume we will hear within the next, and I say this all the time as well, give things time. A lot of people are quite obsessed, especially in the cryptocurrency space, with jumping onto new protocols, new assets, and new things the moment that they launch. The moment that they launch, I always like to wait myself to see if these things break. When you have 10,000 people on your protocol and it's doing fine, thumbs up. When you have 180,000 people on your protocol and it hasn't slowed down, that's pretty cool. When you have 1 million people using your decentralized exchange on a daily and or weekly basis, transferring billions of dollars back and forth, and there's been no problems, that's when you usually should start looking into using one of these protocols or other layers. Don't use it in the very beginning. Don't be one of those people, because how many times have we seen before in the past, people use these things, they put their money into it, And then we have all these articles. This person lost $47,000 into a protocol that's now locked. And it's like, well, maybe don't use it on the very first day. It's like buying like the very first iPhone. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Can't wait to get the iPhone 3 because, you know, the first one's definitely not going to be as great. Anyway, that's the second decentralized exchange has launched on Cardano. I give it 5 weeks. There will be a third one, but this is fine. This is how it should be. People should be building tons of things on top of these protocols that we heard that they were going to be doing before because we need actual usage of these protocols. What's the point in being like, hey, I can do 5,000 transactions per second, but no one's using you. So now someone's using them. And yeah, I assume that we're also going to start getting a lot of locked up Cardano news. If these are the same as many other decentralized exchanges, in order to have extra liquidity in the protocols, you basically take some of the asset, lock it into the protocol to give within that ecosystem. Why am I using my hand so much? Within that ecosystem, to give them actual liquidity of said asset. So we should be hearing relatively soon how much Cardano is actually locked up in these places and or has been converted to wrapped Cardano. I don't know how the protocols work. I'm basically going off of what every other decentralized exchange has also done. Anyway, that's the second Cardano decentralized exchange has launched news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in very popular news, the internet computer, which is a coin, has released a roadmap for 2022 and beyond, indicating plans to roll out integrations with Bitcoin and Ethereum by the end of the year. The internet computer is here's a good one. Tell me if you can keep up with this. The internet computer is a public blockchain and protocol that allows developers to install smart contracts and decentralized applications directly on the blockchain. Does that sound familiar? That's what every other blockchain does. I laughed for about a good minute and a half when I read that earlier. Is a public blockchain and protocol that allows people to execute smart contracts and dApps on the blockchain. Oh, so you mean every other blockchain? Oh, that's cool. It was incubated and launched in May 2021. And after years of development by Definity, a nonprofit based in Zurich, there's the actual tweet for it right there. The direct Bitcoin integration will be launched as part of Definity's Chromium Satoshi release, which is planned for Q1 of 2022. It will add smart contracts to the Bitcoin blockchain using chain key cryptography, displacing the need to use a bridge that can open up the network to malicious actors. Definity community member Berto Paragapena explained that chain key cryptography is one of the fundamental breakthroughs enabling the internet computer. The internet computer. To scale to millions of nodes, it is a set of cryptographic protocols that orchestrate the nodes that make up the internet computer and the engine that drives it and makes its operation possible. I'm going to actually cross my fingers for this one. While I think the name internet computer is special, there has been discussion about integrating or Bitcoin having smart contracts for a very, very long time. This was a discussion around mid-2018 as the term smart contract really began to pop up as Ethereum kept on saying, we have smart contracts. Everyone was like, hey, we're going to have smart contracts as well. I believe that there are two layers, two protocols, side chains, don't know exactly what to call them, on top of or next to Bitcoin that allow for smart contract functionality, but no one's using them. And or the only people who are using them are maybe cryptographers and or other cryptocurrency exchanges. It's the same exact thing. When the Lightning Network launched, there was another layer that also launched called Liquid that is now only being used by cryptocurrency exchanges to have faster Bitcoin transactions. The idea of Bitcoin having smart contracts would or should logically raise Bitcoin's price by a huge amount. The idea is, as I've said before, many people have disagreed with me. They said I had no idea what I was talking about. And even because I called these things computers, sure, why not? Who actually cares? These protocols, these blockchains, these systems, These things that operate with nodes are basically all the same. Don't argue with me because I know that they are. They can all be upgraded. Do you agree with that? Cool. If they can be upgraded, if you can have other chains, if you can have other side things or other layers or other protocols on top of them, there's no real difference in being able to create a layer or protocol or side chain or second layer or third layer or fourth layer or fifth layer that wraps around Bitcoin that is the same exact thing as another protocol that does 5,000 transactions per second, simply with the actual validation of said transactions on the actual Bitcoin core taking place at the last step of the validation. Make sense? Cool. Thought it would. So, when we get to a future where Bitcoin actually has these working chains, because for some reason Bitcoin is one of the last blockchains that has any other working chains around it that are actually functioning for everyday normal people, when we have a platform on top of Bitcoin, wrapped around it, chained around it, married to it, tied to it, doesn't really matter, that allows for as many transactions as every other huge blockchain, Bitcoin is going to take over these other blockchains. I know. I feel some of you sucking your teeth. I get it. I know. I understand. When Bitcoin has smart contracts that actually work, that can execute 30,000 at least transactions per second, a lot of the other smart contract platforms are going to simply disappear because Bitcoin will be the more stable blockchain. When Bitcoin has an actual platform that I'm still shocked that no one has built at this point, that actually deals in NFTs, and Bitcoin has its own large platform that validates the final transaction on the actual Bitcoin blockchain the same exact way that the Lightning Network does, people are going to start moving more to Bitcoin as well. This was said. I'm actually crossing my fingers for this because for some reason, this is not the first time that we are hearing about a protocol, a system, an operational, and the fact that they're called Internet Computer only makes it even more ridiculous, who has announced that they're going to be doing something like this on top of Bitcoin. However, the other ones have not launched, or they are very exclusively for a very particular set of people within the cryptocurrency space. So, as it stands right now, apparently this is going to happen sometime in Q1 of 2022. I think the worst thing that would ever take place is if we hear that by the end of Q1 of this year, we are now scheduled for Q3, because it always happens this way. I'm not sure why there's always an extra step as to how long these things are going to take. But if Bitcoin does actually have this and it's working and it speeds up or scales Bitcoin in a certain way, we should logically see some actual movement in Bitcoin's price and or actual usage. On top of that, they're also planning on doing the exact same thing on top of Ethereum. It says, meanwhile, integration with Ethereum is slated for Q3 of 2022 with the Vanadium Vitalik release, as they're calling it. Dfinity is yet to publish any further details about the integration, but Vice President of Communications Michael Less explained to Cointelegraph, I don't have to read all that, it's probably going to be the exact same thing. I assume that they're waiting for Q3, hear me out on this one, because we got news that we will not be getting Ethereum 2.0 until the end of Q2. So I assume that they're waiting, logically, to see if Ethereum 2.0 launches and then works for a couple of weeks, if not then months, before they actually announce a date or say, hey, this is when we're going to actually try and do it. This is why it's slated for, and there's no actual date for this actual integration. So I think it's kind of cool. I'm hoping that this doesn't end up once again being another, hey, look at this great idea that we have. Look at what we're going to be doing on top of this protocol. Oh, sorry, didn't end up happening. So Internet Computer, I hope you stick around and do what you're actually telling other people that you're going to be planning on doing. This was also, like I said, quite popular news. I think anytime that we get any type of news, and it's really sad because it doesn't usually end up taking place, that there's going to be a protocol or something that would be scaling and or updating and or upgrading Bitcoin, people tend to get quite excited. Before I started the video, I was looking through the cryptocurrency prices. You know what? And help me out on this if you know any information, because I don't know. Whatever happened to Mimblewimble on Litecoin? Remember we got news at the beginning of 2021? And like literally the beginning of 2021, the Litecoin was going to have private transactions by Q1 or Q2 of last year. And then by the time we got to around June, it was the news that I think in October, the Litecoin was going to have the implementation of Mimblewimble on top of it and have private transactions. The idea being, as Litecoin is a source code fork of Bitcoin, if it works on Litecoin, it works on Bitcoin. And therefore people were like, yeah, we're going to have private transactions on top of Bitcoin. But alas, nothing has actually taken place. So this is yet another situation where people are talking about things that are going to happen and then they never end up happening. So I hope that Internet Computer actually does the integration and gives Bitcoin proper smart contracts that everyone else in the world can use, because doesn't it seem a little weird that every other blockchain has these things except for Bitcoin? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, that's the Internet Computer. My gosh, how do they think of that name? News. And yeah, let's move on. And to finish things off in, well, news, the CFO of Robinhood has dashed the hopes of Shiba Inu being listed on their commission-free investing platform anytime soon. Shortly after Robinhood released its Q4 earnings on Thursday, Chief Financial Officer Jason Warnick told reporters that the firm is treading carefully when it comes to adding new crypto assets on its platform due to concerns that some cryptocurrencies may be deemed unregistered securities by U.S. regulators. I feel like we could easily get past that if U.S. regulators simply gave regulations. Doesn't it seem quite odd that regulators who are supposed to be regulating have yet to give regulations after 13 years of this market being around? No one else finds that weird? Okay, let's move on. He said, "We know our customers want new coins. The message is clear." Remarkably, the Shiba Inu community has stepped up a campaign in recent months to convince Robinhood to list SHIB, and a petition on Change has now surpassed over 555,000 signatures. Yet Robinhood executives have time again stressed that they are awaiting regulatory clarity before listing more cryptocurrencies, particularly Shiba Inu. You know what I find really weird? Imagine you are you're just able to start driving and you go, oh gosh, I really, really want a car. Someone pops up and go, hey, I heard you want a car. And you go, yeah, I really need a car right now. And they go, hey, here's a Maserati. You go, Mazda what? I don't want to, I can't even spell that. I don't want that. Like, get that thing away from me. And they go, okay, sorry. And they walk away. You know, keys are still there if you ever need them. Someone else comes up to you next week and they go, hey, you needed a car, right? And they go, yeah, I really need a car. And they go, hey, I got a BMW. 3 letters? I don't want that in my house. Please get that away from me. And they go, well, what do you want? I want a 94 Buick. You want a 94 Buick? I would love a 94 Buick. And they go, okay, that's kind of weird. Well, I'm going to hang up the keys on the wall over here just in case you actually ever want them. Next week, somebody comes over to you and they go, hey, needed a car? Yeah, you have a car? I have a Tesla. I really want my Buick. And they go, well, you know, you have 3 other car keys on the wall that you can drive at any time, but you want the Buick. And they go, all right, well, I'm going to ask the people from Buick if they actually, you know, if you're able to drive in their Buick. And you finally get to the dealership and you see that the Buick, you know, is missing like 3 tires and one of the windows is smashed out and you can't really drive it anytime soon because it doesn't have its license, regulators, plates. But the other 3 cars, Coinbase, Gemini, Binance, have the thing that you want that you can use at any single time, but you still want the 94 Buick. That also, if you haven't been looking at Robinhood's earnings, they're not really that spectacular. They're not as big as people think that they actually are. I know that they're popular and I know that people use them. You might even have it on your phone. That's wonderful. You probably have a lot of other things in your phone that tons of other people also aren't using anymore, like Instagram. But the fact is, Shiba Inu is on every other cryptocurrency exchange. You have the option of using it across multiple platforms, across multiple countries, even though there shouldn't be like an actual country distinction between cryptocurrency exchanges and or cryptos. You understand what I'm saying. The amount of articles that were floating around talking about how Robinhood has made the wrong choice and it's costing them money and they need to really get their act together. What am I missing? Why? And I'm pretty sure that most of these cryptocurrency exchanges also have apps. Is it that you want to be able to trade Shiba Inu on your phone? On your tablet when you're outside on the train? Like, yeah, look at me, I'm trading Shiba Inu. What is it? It's everywhere else. I was happy with the fact that when Gemini listed it, which is also, think about this, Gemini doesn't list anything on their platform. I'm almost certain, hear me out, Gemini only lists things that they make sure are fine with regulators. So the fact that they have it on their platform lets me know that it's probably not, I am not a regulator. It's probably not a security in any way, shape, or form. And so for those of you who were wondering, like, remember the article that we had earlier that Dogecoin and Shiba Inu fell down, and I was like, well, they're down by like 12%, but other coins are down even lower. I'm almost certain that Shiba Inu like fell down dramatically because of this news. Why everybody cares so much? I get it. I know Robinhood is a very popular platform. I looked at the comment section before and also on Twitter, and people, gave me the full rundown as to why Robinhood is so popular. That's great. If you can't trade something you want to trade on there, you can't even cash out of the app. Why obsess over it? They're going to add Shiba Inu at some point. Maybe in the year like 2042, whenever regulators finally get it together. But if you really like Shiba Inu, if you think at some point it's going to go to 1 cent, that is the magical Shiba Inu number, apparently according to the interwebs, wouldn't it just make sense to put your money somewhere else as opposed to the app, website, platform that you can't cash out of and doesn't have the thing that you want right now? I do hope that this is the end of the listing Shiba Inu saga, because once again, it's everywhere else. Understand you want your Buick. I know it might be a really fancy car in 1994, but other regulated platforms also have this coin that you can buy right now, right at this very moment. You can also go buy it. So yeah. This was quite popular news, as you might have expected. A lot of people really bummed, and so many things like, I don't understand why they're doing this. They're ruining the market for all of us. It's not the grass is greener on the other side. It's like, hey, look down at your feet. You're already standing in grass. That's it. There's no more of a parable there. Like, you are already standing in quite lush grass. Alrighty, that's the Shiba Inu news. And yeah, let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University. How's life, Austin? Hope it's going good. Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and let's move on. Chris, Hakeem Wilkins, Empire Queen, Stake It With Valor, FUDWISER, Mortified. Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno, Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Red Plump Tomato, Wish Nikki, the letter M, Not Brain, Captain Something and the Z-Way Lay, Crypto Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, Speedy 655, and Carlos Was Like, Mo Barazi, Jojo Shawshow, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolay, Lauren De Silva, Quarter Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Jeez Louise, Tolek Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd, Mullis, Adam, Graysick, Moha Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavodi, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crail and Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. I do thank all of thee. I tip my digital hat. Thank you to all the new Patreon supporters. Thank you to everyone who left a like, who has continuously left a like over the last couple of years. As I've been mentioning it, you have indeed helped me with my algorithm. I've seen a major difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who has left a comment or comments. They are always appreciated. At the moment, quite interestingly enough, if you look at the movement of the charts, it's the exact same thing across the entirety of the board. Bitcoin is currently only down by 1.8%. It is even a shift from when I began the video when it was down by 4, 5, or 6. Remember, like 4 or 5%, somewhere around there. It looks like the market is trying to move back up. Who knows exactly why? It could be based on logic, and I know that the cryptocurrency market does not have a lot of it. So, not really too sure there. Ethereum is currently down by 2.6%. Here's the movement downward I was telling you about. Clearly orchestrated. Does not make a lot of sense as to why the market would have slammed down in one go at that time. The rest of the market looks like moving the exact same way as Bitcoin, trying to move back up. Luna Terra is only now down by 8%. From the 13-14% roughly around here. Shiba Inu is only down by 4.8%. I think a lot of times it's also good to keep into context that a lot of times we get quite dramatic price news. Bitcoin's falling, the market's collapsing. When these movements downward are really only down by 2, 4, 5, 6%. A really troubling movement is if Bitcoin had fallen down by 33%. That would be a whoopsie-daisy, something's not right in the market. But it's usually these very weird movements that take place over the course of a 24-hour period. Anything else significant and or crazy? Phantom is down by 9. Sure, why not? Mana's up by 1.9%. Anything else crazy? Nope. Not a gosh darn thing. We'll see what happens during this week. I'm expecting a very dramatic week. I don't know why. It's something in the air. I feel like this is going to be a very trying week in general for the planet. I don't know why. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Hope you all had a great weekend. It was a pretty nice weekend. It wasn't too bad. Quite relaxing. I've actually been playing, what do you call it? The new Pokemon game. Is it Arceus? Zeracius? Whatever it's called. The new one on the Switch. It's great. If you haven't played it, try it. It's really actually quite fun. Yes, thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. Okay, no, actually, I could have done that for way too long, so I'm going to stop it there. I could have actually continued for like another minute. I felt it, like my lungs were at full capacity. All right, see you.